UK wrestling crowds are certainly a special, special breed. They bring the energy, they bring the noise, they bring the funk, they bring whatever the fuck it is they're on about to the sport of professional wrestling. It doesn't matter if they get matches that don't really mean anything, they get the stars talking to them endlessly for minutes and minutes and minutes and minutes on end, to the point you're almost nauseated even by the stars talking. But man, oh man, when they start off with the chants, you're just gonna get fucking enthralled. Because if you love Roman, you're going to stand up, but I'm sitting because I'm just going to acknowledge the original Tariff Chief by doing this. I'm John Renton with my review of WWE Raw from Birmingham, Alabama, as well as my WWE Clash in Paris predictions. For the first time, for the last time, until some other time. What do I mean by that? After Clash in Paris, I'm probably going to be taking a bit of a break. That's not to say I won't be paying attention to some of the TV, but as far as their new upcoming ESPN deal, no. No, I'm not going to be reviewing those pay-per-views, PLEs, whatever, for 30 fucking bucks a month. I'm not going to use a VPN. Not going to do that stuff. I may check him for Survivor Series. Maybe, maybe not. I may check him for the Rumble. I'll probably check him for Mania. But I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. After 40 plus years of being a wrestling fan, just over 40 years, which would technically be 40 plus, war to sell the score, and even having times where I would ease back a little bit from reviewing stuff, and I've eased back quite a bit this year, guys, I just need to take a step back. And I'm going to even be taking a step back from AEW programming likely in September and maybe even some in October, because I've got a lot of work coming up. I've got a lot of other things going on over the next couple months. I'm ramping up for Horror Movie Month. So let's just get into it. So they had around 13,000 people. And yeah, I'm reviewing this a little bit later because I reviewed WWE NXT Heatwave. You can check out that review. And Roman comes out to a pop and gets to sing along. If you love Roman, stand up. It's 10 minutes in, he finally gets to speak. And he talks about Seth Rollins. Fuck Seth Rollins. They're getting bleeped. When he mentions Cody, well, Cody gets booed. I mean, all right. It's about time people started realizing, what I've realized for years. And how Jay deserves to be in the four-way, that Roman's lost everything, even his shoes. And then Heyman and Here Comes Bronson shows up. The shoe will follow, the original tribal thief. There's shut the fuck up chants. I'm skipping over a lot of this because even though there were a few good lines, it just took about a million years to get to it. 5 years ago, Heyman aligned with Roman. It feels like 15 years ago. But he still loves Roman, but he is not going to dish out the punishment or the awakening that Roman needs. Here Comes Bronson is going to do it. And Roman basically says, on Sunday you're going to kiss my ass because, I'm going to whoop his. So Bronson basically says, your tribe is civilized, mine isn't. We were basically banished to Australia. That entirely big other can of worms I'm not going to get into, basically. Look how Australia was founded. And that being said, and I'm not knocking the people of Australia now. I mean, it's not like this country's any fucking better. So they get into a brief brawl. Security is there. Security, aka jobber wrestlers. And we get a fight in the pile, and they just fight off. They technically fight off. Dominic is talking to Kaiser Americano. Why is this the best thing they have for Ludwig Kaiser? I don't know. So Dragon Lee, who now has dragon wings for some reason, took on JD McDonough. And, well, later we got a giant stomp, but we got the foot on the ropes. Dominic shows up. Styles, the world's biggest hater, according to commentary. They're about as hip as I am with how they're sounding there. So they fight off. We get a DDT 1, 2, 3. Dragon Lee won a match. I expect him to win another match sometime around February of next year. And Jackie is with LA Knight, who is not sure that CM Punk didn't intend to push him through that table last week. The Slim Jim table, that is. So we get a Rusev package where he is essentially the same as he was before he left, without being a cuck. He's basically the same as the Redeemer, but the thing is now he's older. Doesn't really mean anything. We get more Judgment Day stuff. I'm tired of it. I am seriously tired of this stuff. Penta took on Kofi with Willie Woodson. Actually Willie Woods, because Woods was dressed up like a funeral version of Willy Wonka. Grayson Waller is trying to get a petition signed to ban the Destroyer. And yeah, Penta lost to Kofi. I have nothing but respect for what Kofi and Xavier have done as far as their careers. And I wish this New Day turn was working better for me. It worked initially, but Big E couldn't get cleared. And unfortunately, the tag division is dead. It is totally fucking dead. And no amount of, New Day is going to help. So, basically, we get Cody talking about the crowd being the orchestra and Unreal. I have not watched a bunch of Unreal. I can't. I just fucking can't do it. I'm sorry, but you pat yourselves on the back and basically just tell us all, we know it's a work, but to expose this, come on. Rhea is stretching, and here's Io to watch her stretch. I have seen movies start this way. So, Asuka and Kairi do end up seeing Io basically hug Rhea after saying we need to go our separate ways, or keep our distance. I'm confused. Are we going to end up like a blue is the warmest color situation? I hope so. Not with the director, but you know what? Moving on. If you know what I mean, moving on. Pierce tells Stephanie, you won't be in Paris. Oh well. Because of Naomi's pregnancy, and Pierce apparently was unable to come up with another opponent for Stephanie. I mean, it is what it. I don't understand why the hell they're doing this. I really don't understand why they couldn't have just come up with a backup plan. But it is what it is. Honestly, Stephanie looks great. Pierce is exactly the type of authority figure you need. And speaking of figures that we need the producer on here because the producer has to weigh in on what's going on with all this stuff. So when I told you, and you're going to listen to me, when I told you that Naomi got pregnant, you couldn't believe it. And then I explained to you that she's had fertility issues, and you didn't know what the hell that meant until I said, well, remember, you got fixed. You can't produce, and that's why Naomi's happy to have a kid. So, Sir, by the way, this is Sir. This is Sir, who was recently on about the first third of the Caught Stealing review that I did. So, what else do we need to talk about? Oh, we need to talk about the fact that next week, Stephanie will face somebody, and it will be still in Paris. It just won't be on Clash in Paris, because the Paris show is on Sunday, and they're going to have a Paris Raw on Monday. I'm not going to be reviewing that because I got a mystery movie and I got to work, don't I? You're going to the vet soon for your daily checkup, or your yearly checkup, aren't you? Look at your tootsies, they're right here. So, fine. You're just going to stay right there, though. So, here's basically the deal. Becky comes out, her new theme is terrible. That her WWE tryout was in Birmingham, and it was a dump then, it's a dump now. She calls out Nikki. She also makes a sports reference to some team. I don't know because I don't follow the Premier. I know it's in the Premier League, I think, but I don't follow football. So, she calls Nikki Brokeneck Barbie, and there were a couple lines that worked, but here's the thing. Nikki was like, oh, it's like, I paved the way for women like you. Of course you did, Nikki. That's why these women are actually able to wrestle and do things better. Look, Nikki has been through a lot of tough stuff personally. I am not here to discount that, and it's bullshit she has to pay alimony to her abusive husband. Or ex-husband now. That's some bullshit. But you cannot tell me that if the Bellas were never involved in professional wrestling, or at least never came back until, like, say, 2013, yeah, we wouldn't have had Total Divas, but tell me that wrestling wouldn't have just been, fine. Tell me it wouldn't have been fine. It couldn't have certainly been any worse than watching Brie in the ring. So basically, they jibber-jabber back and forth, and she tells Becky, your name will never mean as much as the name Bella. God forbid, Nikki, you really believe that. You really fucking believe that. I'm just going to move on because otherwise I'm going to be mean. So, Punk basically wants to paint Paris with blood. I don't really have much to say about the Becky Nikki stuff beyond that. Rhea makes her entrance. My word. My fucking word. Sheamus package. Bang her after bang her after bang her. I think that's what he said. And Rhea took on Roxanne in pretty much the match of the night, in all honesty, except for the fact Raquel was there, who people say Raquel's improved because she's working like a big lass. Sure, she's still not very good. And Roxanne focused on the knee. She attacked the tweak point for massive damage. And there were some slaps by both of them. Could one of them slap me like that? I don't have issues. Shut up. And a Riptide wins it. Fine match. Roxanne had a good showing. Rhea winning makes sense. Raquel jumps on Rhea. We get a bit of a brief fracas, and then Io runs down to help. And then we get Rollins trying to hype up Braun and Bronson. Why is Asuka just like this overlord of Io all of a sudden where she's trying to please her? I do not understand it. Like, I know that they're friends, and yes, Asuka's been at this longer, but I don't know. I'm not really interested in this. And Kyrie is not doing a very good job showing that she's obviously aligned with Asuka. I don't know anymore. Styles then took on Finn in a match that lasted about 7 minutes, and Styles won with a Styles Clash. And then Roman tries to fire up Jay, saying, "You helped enough people. You helped me a lot. You helped the production people. You helped this." And he hasn't helped his work be any better, but there we go. More Bayley talking to herself. We're going to get a mixture of Hugger Bayley and Role Model Bayley. And TikTok, I guess, is really all I have to say. Lyra's concerned about Bayley. Go check the institutions. Go check the room she is seemingly locked in. Use GPS. Pierce says, "Hey, Styles and Dominic's going to happen next week. Why didn't he ban Finn and JD? I don't really understand it." Clash rundown. LA Knight attacks Braun Rex Steiner backstage, and they battle to the ring. And they have a match where Knight has the advantage for a bit. Bronson takes over. This is better than the match you had with Jay because there wasn't a bunch of weapons involved. We do get a spear outside after Rollins does a distraction on Knight. And then we get a spear inside, and Knight really looked like he got hurt, so hopefully he's all right. 1, 2, 3. And then a beatdown. Jay's music hits, and he comes out, yeet, yeet, yeet. And then Punk comes out, and Punk and Rollins, they fight off. They just fight off. Or they start to fight off. But then Punk, Knight, and Jay basically have a fight, and Punk and Knight are in a fracas. Jay ends up super kicking both of them. And that is pretty much it for Raw right there. Like, I don't really know what the fuck else to say. So let's do the Clash in Paris predictions. In fact, let's bring on the producer for the Clash in Paris predictions. Don't you look at me in that tone of voice, buddy. You're going to come out here. You know, I paid good money to have you, to bring you into this home, and you've been a blessing. And I've also helped you out with vet bills and stuff like that because you can't pay them. Yeah. So John Cena versus Logan Paul. Logan Paul. Yeah, I know you don't like Logan Paul, neither do I. I think John Cena's going to win. I don't see the point in Logan Paul really getting the victory here. This is John Cena retirement tour, and him putting over Logan Paul is stupid. That being said, I could see them giving it to Logan Paul, but I'm just going to go with John Cena. And then we have Sheamus and Rusev in a good old-fashioned Donnybrook. Okay, we're going to have banger after banger after banger against Rusev Udriel. Rusev Machka. Do 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 do. Okay, we're going to have... I think Sheamus is going to win because it's his match. You think Rusev's going to win, so we'll see who wins. The bet is I have to get you some of those Fancy Feast jewels and feed you one, if that's the case. Yeah, Fancy Feast jewels. You know what Fancy Feast is. He's very upset with me, and I'm going to have to pay. I'm going to have to give him some, treats a little bit later. So that being said, you have Rusev, I have Sheamus. You had John Cena winning also, and let's go with Roman versus Bronson Reed. No shoes on a pole. I'm surprised. You were right. I was wrong. So basically, yes, I'm gonna go with Bronson winning because I think we're gonna get interference. And then it's just going to be ridiculous, but we're going to have Bronson Reed get the victory. Yay. What do you think? Okay. So basically, hey, I'm almost done. I think Bronson is going to get the victory, though. Even if it's via DQ, I think we're going to get that. You are very, very upset right now. And then we're going to go with Becky versus Nikki Bella for the Women's IC title. You want Nikki to win because you just want me to freak out. Becky's going to win. If Becky doesn't win, then I'm probably going to just show my notes being thrown out the goddamn window and being set on fire in the goddamn walkway. No, I won't do that because that would probably constitute being banned. But seriously, Becky needs to win. Nikki doesn't need to win. I told you that. And then we go with Seth Rollins. We have Jey Uso. We have LA Knight. Yeah. And then we have CM Punk. Oh, you flicked your ear right in my goddamn eye. Why the hell did you do that? And it's for the world title. So Bronson and Braun are probably going to interfere. Heyman can't interfere because nobody would trust him to take a goddamn bump or do anything physical. Physical. So I think Seth's going to win. He's either going to pin Jay or he's going to pin LA Knight. Yeah. So that's all I got to say, really. There's no other big Clash in Paris news. So that's it. He's not going to be on the review because he's very upset. Okay, geez, I will end this. So that's it for Raw. That's it for the Clash in Paris predictions. So yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter, Letterboxd, Blue Sky handles in the description. I'm John Ritlin. This is Sir Adopt Don't Shop. And I'll see you soon.